Hi, this is Bob Weiss. I'm the host of Shakin' Your World. Cheers.
Folks, welcome home. Another segment of Shakin' Your World. Here we are with a little bit of the tell me a story aspect. We have with us Jaclyn and Correy in the house today. And we're going to talk about, current events, topical things, and whatever comes to mind. So we're glad that you're along for the ride. We hope you enjoy it. And here we go. So let's talk about sanctuaries to begin with. In many ways, Shakers is a sanctuary. We are that little island of good taste kind of a thing. And people from all walks of life come here with all sorts of backgrounds. And I think that we offer a very important service here because you can just escape for a while. Mm-hmm. You get sucked in this little vortex here at Shakers where time is meaningless. And we've all experienced that here. And suddenly it's daylight or something. But so let's talk about your experience. Obviously, you're both in the medical profession. You get to deal with sick people on a regular basis. And you need to release. You need to act like real people, real humans to come out in the world and play and to have fun. So what do you do to occupy yourself for fun?
We were talking about this right before the camera started rolling. We both like coming here. This is this kind of eclectic, one-of-a-kind bar in Milwaukee where the decor, the lighting, the people, the music is just, it's special. And yeah, you kind of forget that it's 2020. You forget what's going on, and you can have a nice cigar, have a really nice cocktail, and just relax.
Yeah, I have a lot of different muses. I mean, coming here is one of them, but you might catch me on the east side, exclusive company. I love music. When I was a little younger, you would catch me on a basketball court playing a lot of ball, watching sports, movies. Lately, I've been doing a lot of reading and podcasts and stuff, so I always try to find ways to be versatile with how I use my time. So,
one of the things that I really think that we do well here is that we offer an eclectic menu, but a very authentic menu as well for different food styles, different places. So even though we can't go and get on a plane and go somewhere, you can get some of the taste of it here. Whether that's the Cuban rums or foods or something else, or those great scallops that we made yesterday, a few different styles. And I think that really also brings a lot of people in and gives them kind of an anchor to reality right now because things are so mucked up.
Yeah, it is. And I can't wait for it to be over with so I can get back to my normal activities. But I still do try to sneak a vacation in here or there. I went to Nashville over the summer. That was cool. Tried the scene. Did not like the Nashville hot chicken. Very overrated. But Nashville's a good time. It was cool. So I try to sneak away.
How was it during the summer?
Packed.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nashville was packed. It was a full flight. We had a layover in Charlotte. Flight was full coming from Charlotte into Nashville. Broadway was packed.
Yeah.
Honky Tonk Bar was packed.
Okay.
I went to Party Foul. That was packed.
Okay.
So it was packed. It was normal.
He was down right before me because I was there a couple of weeks later and they had shut the city down.
Interesting.
There was absolutely nothing going on at that time.
Wow. Okay. Good for you.
Yeah.
So you used to play basketball, maybe you still do, and you occasionally are a gym rat. What else do you do?
I golf, actually.
I suck at golf.
My father made me golf. It's his favorite sport in life. He loves it more than life itself. Lives and breathes it.
Okay.
So I remember being like 4 or 5, and I got my first set of clubs, and I was going to lessons, and like all that stuff. I used to hate it. I was like, I can't believe he's making me do this. And, it would take hours to play 9 or 18 holes, and you're doing that on a weekend instead of going to the beach with your friends.
Right.
But now I've really grown to love and appreciate it because I'm going to be able to play it forever, even when I'm older, And so I played golf a lot this summer because it was one of the only things not only open, but packed.
Right.
I mean, people were golfing who never golf because it was at least something to do outside. So I golf a lot and I dance too. I'll be honest, I haven't done it as much since going to PA school, becoming a PA, and having a full-time job. But when I was in college, I was on a little hip-hop dance team. I was on the Pom Squad in high school. So I still have it, but mostly it comes out in bars and clubs. Different, but it's different now with COVID because some of the only places open are, more relaxed lounges. You don't have a dance floor in back where you're breaking down with your friends.
Right, right.
But that, yeah, an activity, a muse, so to speak.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you two are both really into food, which is
Absolutely.
another thing that we have in common here at Shakers. So obviously we did the scallops yesterday. We've talked in the past about places you've been. Let's pick this up. So you talked about Nashville. What don't you like about the hot chicken?
It's plain. I mean, hot sauce on chicken has been something that's been implemented for years, so I don't know why it's supposed to make it so hot. We've been doing that in the hood for forever. So
Yeah, Frank's hot sauce, some mayo, whatever, big deal, right?
So it's just,
Yeah.
I wasn't blown
Yeah.
away by it. Nashville has a good food scene, but the
Okay.
Nashville hot chicken, they can keep that.
Right.
I'm
To the tourists, right?
it's too easy.
Yeah.
It's like chicken and
Fair.
waffle.
So what do you like?
I'm a barbecue guy.
Okay.
Anything off the grill.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Memphis, obviously.
Yeah.
North Carolina has good food. Kansas City is decent.
So Rendezvous
Texas,
in Memphis.
Rendezvous. Central, Rendezvous, yep. All great places.
Okay.
Love it. I like a big steak. We talk about that all the time. I'm
Sure.
a ribeye guy, carnivore guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Love
yeah.
what Omar does over there. He's a good friend of mine,
Yep.
so love that place. Italian, Tenutas.
Been to Austin, by the way?
Been to Austin. I love the brisket on. Yeah,
Okay.
I went to right off of 8th Street. Cooper's might have been the name. Like Cooper's might have been the
It
name.
could be.
I
Franklin's
love
a big one there,
Austin
but
barbecue. Real good.
Let's talk about how dope Austin as a city is, though. I mean, because
It's a dope city.
definitely great scene, great music scene. They got the South by Southwest music festival down there. Very artistic.
let's hope that comes back, by the way.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
Austin doesn't even belong in Texas.
You don't feel like you're in Texas.
Yeah, it's more like
You're
an East
a-
Coast.
Yeah, it's some.
I get more like between Key West and San Francisco, and even a Madison vibe thing going on because, of course, the university's there,
Love
the
Madison,
center
too.
of government's
I've
there.
thought of it as the Madison of the West,
Yeah.
or of
Yeah.
the South. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Madison is a good city too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
With
Madison
the
has a
young
a
kids
good steak
everywhere.
joint. What's the steak joint in Madison? Tornado Room?
Got me.
Tornado Room is fun. I don't know if they do steaks. They have a rare in Madison on the square.
The original rare. Yeah.
The original rare.
I was in there one night and Glenn Beck from Fox News came in. They kicked
Okay.
him out. The highlight of the night. This was during a recount, Scott Walker recount. They kicked him out.
Any reason in
Get out of
particular?
here. Yeah, kicked him right out of the tornado room.
Tornado Room is a really cool vibe.
It is.
Yeah, they're little wooden benches and they're kind of small and
Nice.
narrow. And nice wine menu.
Yeah. And then we went to a place across the street, Merchant.
Oh, I know Merchant.
Where they make all these different drinks and
Oh yeah, and they turn
Yeah.
it turns into a dance floor at night.
yeah, Merchant was cool. So you familiar with she?
I went to
familiar?
UW Madison
Oh,
for
so
my
you-
undergrad,
okay.
so I was a
Okay. So you're bad.
those are my stomping grounds.
Okay. Great
Yeah.
Dane. Spot it.
Good spot. Good spot.
I go back to Merlin's in Madison, way before your time, I'm
Merlin's.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Merlin.
That's cool.
Merlin's.
Okay. Was a good scene.
There was a scene.
You know, so many of those smaller kind of southern cities that you mentioned, like Kansas City, et cetera, I've
Yeah.
never been to any places like that. You know, I've usually just traveled mostly to the coasts.
Right.
And it sounds fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kinda that-
It's hidden gems.
Yeah.
The other one we talked about off the record, I think it was Charleston. It's another good city, small city, with
Vibrant,
great food.
vibrant, great
yeah.
food scene.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're just now catching on to it, but it's like similar to New Orleans. But I love it, man. It's a little bit more. What's the word I'm looking for? Southern than New Orleans. New
Well,
Orleans
it's
has
southern
more of a,
upscale compared
Correct.
to New Orleans. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, but
Sure.
Charleston is cool.
Yeah. So I've got the tour business in Savannah. I don't get down nearly as often as I should, but Charleston is right up the coast.
Cool.
Yeah,
And
Savannah's
they're
another
just
one.
both extraordinary places to be.
Cool.
Yeah, I when it's over with, I want to check out Portland. I've heard a lot of good
Yeah,
things about
it's-
Portland, and they have great wine in Oregon. But I've heard the food scene is coming up, so that's one of the things I want to do when this is over with. I want to check out Portland.
Well, there's a synergy
Yeah.
there. Obviously, food and wine go so well together, so it just makes sense that would take place.
Yeah.
Sure.
You got these exquisite Pinot houses and Chardonnay houses there, but of course,
Yeah.
it's going to have great food there too.
Wine is what's better than wine to me. I'm a bourbon guy, but wine is. I was just thinking. I mean, Jesus was drinking wine, so you know that shit was good.
Jesus,
You know that shit was good. Jesus take the wheel. Who took the wheel for him that night? Because he got drunk at that wedding.
Because he was drinking wine.
Now, I don't know who took the wheel, but somebody did.
Yeah,
Hope it
well.
wasn't Satan, but. But yeah,
Wine is
man,
fantastic.
Wine is dope.
Yeah.
Definitely dope. But so I took a trip out to Napa 2 years ago.
Love
And that's
Napa.
really when I discovered the different types of wines. And I followed that up with a trip to Spain. And
Cool.
the wine over there was fantastic. So I'm really into the wine right now. That's my thing right now.
I mean, how amazing for this product to kind of emanate where it's grown from and who produced it, who made it. I mean, these earthy tones and where it's growing and the elevation and the water supply and the breezes from what ocean or stream or
Right.
mountain, what like
Skin
I mean
contact
that's
and
fantastic.
all this shit. Yeah.
You know, and the more you learn about it, the more it kind of blows you away. And
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's such a fun hobby.
It is. It is.
You know, wine is so easy and accessible, yet in all the years I've been going to bars and owning bars and restaurants, I have never seen a fight break out in a wine bar. But you go to
Yeah.
any number of beer joints, there's always something,
Yeah.
right?
You won't see a fight. You won't
That's a
see
good
fight
point,
in one bar.
Bob.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
I got a couple, stick around.
Yeah.
So champagne, obviously the ultimate wine.
Cava.
So good.
You know, the problem with cavas, a lot of the cavas that come to the U.S. had that stainless steel kind of flavor to them on the backside. But you go to Spain, you get just some remarkable things that
Spain.
don't have that. Yeah.
Everything is remarkable in Spain. Everything.
Well,
Literally,
Yeah.
the
I-
air
I-
is remarkable.
Yeah.
The best food porn in the world really is in Spain, northern Spain.
Man.
So,
San Sebastian,
San Sebastian, Santander,
Yeah.
Bilbao, yep,
phenomenal. Yeah, Spain is.
Wow.
Barcelona as well.
Yeah,
I've been
even-
there.
Yeah. But even
Yeah.
the Andalusia region too, where you go into Tarifa, Sevilla, Malaga. I mean, even their take on Italian food was. I had better experiences with Italian food in Spain than I did in Rome. So to me, I thought it was. And
Well,
the people were
Rome,
just nice.
Rome is for tourists,
Yeah,
so.
yeah. It was phenomenal, man. Spain
Wow.
is
How long were you there?
2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, it's top notch shit. Yeah. So I would move there if I didn't have parents, aging parents, and things like that. But,
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah.
I forgot who told me. I think it might have been a neurosurgeon. There's all of these small rundown towns in Spain that they're trying to like sell and houses and land that are going for like unbelievably low prices.
Cheap.
Do you know anything about this, Bob? I don't know anything further. I don't pretend to, but I remember someone saying they were like really looking into it.
Yeah, have a villa there. Wouldn't that be fun? Or even in Portugal, it's the same situation.
Portugal.
Yeah.
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 Oh my goodness.
I was there for 2 weeks last year, Portugal. So
Yeah.
unbelievable.
I had a boar. So Bob made this boar, and it tastes like the boar I had when I was in Spain. It had a sweet taste to it, and so I remember this guy in Spain telling me these stories about them feeding the boars acorns.
Acorns, right.
Yep.
Which makes the meat sweeter. And so, Bob pulled out this boar, and he shredded it all up, and that shit was good. It was sweet.
Yeah.
You didn't feed the acorns, did you?
I didn't.
Okay. Okay.
It was
cool.
my kid's pet, but that's okay. Yeah, don't worry about that.
Yeah, that was a good pet.
They'll get over that.
Right.
Wild boar, in the
Right.
field, sure.
Yeah, that shit was good, man. Spain is dope, but Europe is dope. I love Europe.
All of it
I
is,
love Europe,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
And when you start getting outside of the U.S., we got it good here, but they got it good too. And so I'll
More
encourage
people in the
everybody to
U.S.
try.
should go to Europe and see the rest of the world, go to South America and see how things
Hell
take
yeah.
place, have a better comprehension for what we are here.
Hell yeah.
But man,
Makes you
there
a
are
better
some
person.
really cool things in Europe. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So what is your favorite type of? I know yours, but what is your favorite type of cuisine?
Ooh. If I had to pick, it would be seafood. I love seafood. I love fresh oysters from Cape Cod and Boston area specifically.
Prince
Just
George's.
the best I've ever had. Lobster, scallops, that is just unbelievable food. And I really love French cuisine because I love butter and cream. So anything
Yeah.
involving that is going to be good. But I'm also like you. I love a good steak.
Yeah.
Like a surf and turf. I
Yeah.
think I could eat it every day, and I wouldn't.
I love scallops.
Yeah, yeah.
I got a confession. I've never had oysters
Oh,
because they appear to be slimy, and I'm just, yeah.
so
Well, before this is over, we will get some oysters here.
Okay.
Hey,
I
Lori,
think it's time you
I
try.
have a dozen oysters here. No hurry. Thank you.
So the first time I had an oyster, I was a PA student doing a rotation in family medicine in Boston. I was at Marquette, and they had this opportunity to work for 6 weeks on the U.S. Coast Guard base downtown in the North End in Boston, and you live in the barracks for free.
Man, the North End.
So I was like, sign me up.
Yeah.
You know, at free rent in Boston for 6 weeks, and I get to, experience a little bit of a new city that I've never really been to. So I packed my bags and off I went, and I was going out to eat like every night,
Yeah.
alone. I would just like sit at the bar, bring a book, meet some friends, or talk with the bartender, whatever. But I was eating lobster rolls, scallops, like you name
Scallops
it.
is the bomb.
Oh, like just all the time. But that's the first time I tried an oyster. I gotta admit, I was nervous. I was like
Like I am right now.
these are like they're like goobers.
Right.
I coming from the Midwest, you just don't have any appreciation or like upbringing with them because we just eat like meat and cheese.
That's it.
Yeah,
And
like
brats.
yeah, brats and meat, yeah, ham and all that stuff.
Cream puffs.
Yes.
Okay.
But they have an amazing flavor, and I focus more on the flavor and a little less on the consistency, but it doesn't bother me. But the flavor is phenomenal, like earthy, minerally, and then you just kind of like slide it down. I chew it like once because I like to really get the
Texture, yeah.
flavor and the
Yeah.
texture.
Okay.
Yeah, but I would say load it up with a little bit of like cocktail sauce or whatever. Like put a little more on there the first one. See how it goes.
Okay.
Don't be scared.
You'll be fine. I got faith in you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate it. A little faith
Yeah.
goes a long way.
You go.
Yeah. But yeah, so I've never had oysters.
Well, these particular oysters are from Raspberry Point, which is as far north as you can go in the Atlantic, in Prince Edward Island. So cold, pristine,
Nice.
fertile waters, and that makes a big difference too.
Prince Edward. That's what I said. Prince George. I knew it was one of the princes. I knew it wasn't
Yeah.
our prince, but I figured it was one of the princes.
Well, you get down to New Orleans, they have a whole different, obviously, the species of oysters are different in different coastal areas.
Saltwater.
But they're just monstrously huge things that you gotta chew down in New Orleans. They're
Yeah.
just monsters.
Yeah.
And I think actually that kind of takes away from the experience because I just like to slurp them on down. And some of these things are huge. But you get to the West Coast, and they got a whole different flavor composition. It's much more cucumbery, and it's, I think, not quite as appealing. But that's just me.
I don't like them on the West Coast either.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't. I like the ones from the Northeast.
It was funny.
Less radiation too.
Why do you think that is?
It's a good point.
You would think is that it's the Bering Strait that comes up in South America that you'd have all sorts of nutrients there, but they must be diluted in the process or something.
Okay.
Or maybe there's just so much pollution that's out there now as well that's contaminated the beds. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
Actually.
Okay.
Right.
I had
Good
Because
point.
in fact, you think about this. So if California is here, and of course Washington State above that, which have oyster beds, and the straits are coming up this way, right? So you're going past all sorts of industrial areas first before you get up here to the beds. Whereas when everything is coming from the North Atlantic up here, that's all water coming to the Arctic, and it's incredibly pure and fresh, and has not been contaminated yet. So maybe that's the reason why.
Sure.
got you. Yeah.
Just the currents.
The currents.
I find oyster, what's the farming? Like, I don't even. I remember this friend of mine who lives on the Cape, like trying to explain it to me and where they find them, and it sounds like wildly intense and expensive. Hence the reason they, usually are expensive.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they've attempted to grow them on strings, and it just hasn't really worked out well, like mussels do,
Yeah.
famously. But oysters are just a different animal, obviously. So,
Weird.
Yeah. It's just oysters are foreign for me. Scallops I love. I almost stopped eating scallops when I actually seen how a scallop looks before you eat it. But I was like,
with
it was the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life.
big shell. Yeah.
Man, it's ugly.
They're just too good though.
They're phenomenal.
And they're so healthy.
They're excellent. I went to a popular restaurant here in the city, and I had some scallops. Their take on it was disgusting. How do you mess up scallops? You sear them for a few
You
minutes.
overcook them.
They taste like they were soaking them in iodine. I don't know what the hell
Oh,
they were doing.
no.
I was like, oh my God. So I asked them to bring it, give me a new plate, brought the plate back, and it tastes good. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. I'm cool.
Well, the iodine covered the taste of the funk of the spoiled oysters, you
Yeah.
see. Right, so they bleached
Yeah.
them first, rinsed them, put iodine on them.
That's
So
exactly what it
you
tastes
had no idea what you're getting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there used to be a butcher shop on Blue Mound Road in Elm Grove. And I walked in there one day and got myself a chicken, and I got it home, and I opened the package, and I went, oh my God, this is terrible. It smells like bleach.
Whoa.
I called them up, and I said, hey, we've got a problem here. I said, no, it's what we do to all our chickens to make them stay longer. We bleach them. So the next day I called the health department. I said,
You're like,
you got to check this out.
That's not okay.
And they're
Not
not in
okay.
business anymore.
Damn.
Let's take some
Yeah.
spoiled meat and soak it in bleach. No one's going to smell it. Yeah.
In your opinion, Bob, like if I were to, want to make a really nice dinner or something like that, and I wanted to go to a local like butcher shop or seafood joint, like where would you go to get like the freshest of the fresh?
In Milwaukee, St. Paul's is probably the freshest that you're going to get on a daily basis.
St. Paul's?
St. Paul's at Milwaukee Public Market.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the days of having like garage foods and the Senex having great
Yeah.
selections of Fathom 5 are gone.
Okay.
So, and that's just something else about us that we don't appreciate fresh food enough. We're Empire Fish as well, I suppose.
Empires.
But you don't get the quality that you did 15 or 20 years ago just as a person looking for a residential kind of a situation. As far as meat markets go, again, garage is gone, Senex has changed the way to do that. You find very few operations that are legit butcher departments or butcher markets inside of a store anymore. So you go to like a Ray's Butchers or something like that. There's a variety. Beecher Meats is doing a phenomenal job. They came out of nowhere as the pandemic began in West Dallas, of all places, right?
Yeah. I love Rapina too. I love Maria Rapinas. They're good too.
Okay.
Kettle Ranch on State Street.
I've been to Kettle Ranch.
Kettle Ranch. Kettle Ranch.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
Beecher's,
But
though?
Beecher is good.
In
Beecher
West
meat.
Dallas.
Yep.
Beecher's good.
Okay.
Right by the cheese market. It's a cat who's a mechanical engineer.
Yeah.
And he's an old customer of ours back when he went to MSOE. And he retired from the industry, and he started opening up these joints. And they're top line.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay.
Clean, very clean in there. He has the West Dallas cheese shop too, which is good. So yeah, his meats is good. I got a tomahawk from there recently.
There you go.
Ooh.
Yeah, me and my buddies, we
With like the big
was
bone.
like cavemen on that. Yeah, we
Yeah, that's a
went in.
primal cut.
It's great.
Primal.
Great. Yeah. So
Fun.
Beecher Meats is cool. Very good. Empire in St. Paul's is good. I went to another. It was in Chicago, so never mind. But there was another fish market I went to in Chicago, right off of Kensington. That was good too, man. Some of the best seafood I've ever had. Best seafood I've ever had. Grilled it up.
Cool.
We ate it right there.
Yeah, that maybe was the Chicago Fish Market, which I don't think is there anymore.
Kensington is on the north.
Right.
Wrigleyville.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah.
Fun.
I had a little red tide incident a few years ago, which contaminated everything, and that just put them out of business.
Oh.
Yeah, well.
Had such a great time in there, man. Sucks. Yeah. What's your favorite? So I know Bob's. Me and Bob talk food all the time.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with food, but what's your favorite restaurants in the city?
Ooh, in Milwaukee?
Yeah. Besides Shakers, of course.
Side shakers, of course. I really like Braze. Fun.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I really like Tavo's, which is this small, kind of hole-in-the-wall Mexican cuisine place on Blue Mound Road, really close to the cemetery. You know, you're driving down Blue Mound, and there's like Kelly's Bleachers, I think.
Hollywood, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's called Tavos, Tavos. It's like a Anthony owns it, and his mom and dad are in the kitchen, and they're from Mexico.
Nice.
They cook excellent cuisine.
Is that the old Fiesta Garibaldi?
I don't know. I don't know what used to be
is it
there.
next to,
It's on the corner.
Okay.
next to Story Hill?
North side, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Off of Holly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just immediately across the street is the gas station.
Okay.
Yeah, it's small. There's maybe 5 tables, but
I
they
know
just
what you're
have
talking- okay.
really excellent Mexican food,
Never been there.
and he uses really high quality meats. It's just good.
So it's not authentic Mexican.
Oh. Good
Donkey,
point, Bob.
dog, whatever. Okay.
Yeah. I love going to carnivore for a good steak. I don't want to lie. Like, you're gonna like splurge and have fun. I love going to carnivore. I used to like going to Movida down the street.
Oh yeah.
I like Buckley's once in a while for just like a like relaxing but upscale.
Buckley's cool.
Yeah, Buckley's is
Nice
cool.
happy hour.
They have a nice happy hour. They have a nice brunch.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Definitely.
But it's like I forgot. I don't know. I haven't gone out to dinner much. I miss that, like, it's packed and you just sneak in a reservation and there's so much energy in the restaurant, and I don't know. There's something about that I really miss.
It's addictive.
But
Very good.
what about you, as far as Milwaukee? Like, if you had to pick?
Yeah, carnivores in the conversation, definitely. Shakers, of course. La Miranda comes to mind for me. I like the staples. Elsa's. Not the food is good, but just the history
love
and
Elsa's, too.
the
That's a good-
ambiance, the environment.
Yeah.
What else? I used to really like Lake Park Bistro. That was good.
I've never been there.
Sanford is good. Tenuda's is good. I mean, it's so many.
Yeah.
Braze
Yeah.
is cool.
Yeah.
Balzac.
Ooh.
Balzac.
Some of their wine specials.
Yeah, Balzac. Got the best bartender on earth, Stephanie. If
Okay.
you watching Steph. Phenomenal, man. Balzac is my spot.
Cool.
Yeah. Where else? I'm at Tess.
Oh, that's a good.
Tess is good.
So when this craziness is over and we can go back to restaurants, providing that those restaurants are open, where's the first place you're going to go to? In Milwaukee.
That's a good question. I'm a glutton. So probably Maxie's.
Ooh,
Yeah.
How about you?
I like that.
Yeah.
Maxie's is fun. I got Correy out there during quarantine.
I did too.
Once or twice.
Not the same. But it's good.
No, not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not the same as being.
It's the atmosphere, it's the vibe, it's the
Yeah.
conviviality that you're missing, so you can't be the same.
Yeah.
And you miss that. You take it for granted.
Yep.
And I'm a people person. I'm extroverted, but I love my alone time. But you miss going into a restaurant and just talking to somebody random and learning their story, and you miss that. So I'm really looking forward to being able to do that.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to it, man.
Yeah.
What about you?
Getting away from here, my God, I can't imagine
Don't
that.
say Shakers.
I'll be honest about this. When I can get out and leave here, I'm not going to go to a restaurant in town. I'm out of here. Whether
get
that's
that.
LC Benet in Key West.
That's
I mean, there's a
where I
variety of
wanna go.
places, or
What is this place?
LC Benet in Key West.
Ooh.
Let's go. We do a cooking segment down there. Holy cow! But in my mind, it's the best Cuban restaurant in the country. It's not the things you get in New York. It's not certainly Versailles that people go to in Miami, which is a very busy tourist place to Cuban food. But if you've experienced Cuban food in Milwaukee without naming names, and then you go there to LC Benet, you're like, oh my God, it's cathartic.
Wow.
What is this? It's a whole different
Whoa.
animal. Yep.
Miami's food scene is up and coming. it's gotten a lot better. You had the
Miami's kind of a quirky thing, though, in
Red
so many ways.
Steakhouse and Gotham Steakhouse and Prime 112.
I will have. I'll have another tequila.
It's yeah.
Same way?
Yeah, basically, yeah, same way. Run it back. But
Watch your arm, it's not fair.
yeah, Miami's food scene it's up and coming.
I've never been to Miami. Weird.
More expensive than London.
Is it?
It really, is. That's always been my experience.
Man, first time I went to Miami, I was broke as
That's
a
crazy.
joke. And I feel like I didn't know that. Like, I didn't know that. London, I didn't like the food in London, actually.
Well, no, it's not. You don't go to London for the food.
I don't.
I've learned that.
No, the vibe, certainly, cocktail scene is
Paris, for that
fantastic.
matter.
Yeah, but no, not the food.
Well, you like French food.
Well, Paris is cool, man, but I mean, I've had better experiences at little brasseries and bistros than I have at these ridiculous large Michelin restaurants.
I've heard the same thing.
And they're
Where's your
overblown. No, you can't have it. It's right here.
Oh, thank you.
Not the candle? Okay.
You'll be trying to light that for a while.
It's cool flame. Cool. But no, I like France. I prefer the food in the south of France, or else get into like Reims. You go further to the east, you get really marvelous things, and then into Strasbourg as well. It's a little Alsatian kind of thing. But either the real rustic things, or else just the common everyday food is so much better than the nouveaux or nouvelles and the overblown pompous kind of bullshit you have to put up with in France.
I cannot get past the smell in Paris.
Well, the same as New Orleans. Right?
Cologne houses I go into, I just can't get past them.
Yeah, well,
The smell.
I didn't have that problem being there. I was enamored. Like I couldn't. Oh.
well, I'm sure you have a good time every place you go. But for the average person, it might not be that way.
Bingo.
This is true, Bob.
Bingo.
Thank you.
Price you have to pay, I'm sure.
Right?
The worst thing about Paris is the Parisians, of course. I could say that about Milwaukee. The worst thing about Milwaukee is people don't appreciate how cool the city is, and they have a tendency to downplay it when really this is a marvelous place that needs more attention. Paris, they have a really accelerated view of what they are, and if you could take the Parisians out of Paris, it'd be a much better place.
What's your favorite European city?
Big city, Barcelona.
Barcelona. Barcelona is definitely.
Stuttgart's pretty cool. I've had a great time in parts of Germany. I
Berlin.
like Venice a lot. Well, Berlin is an animal by itself. What I've noticed about Berlin is that you can talk to people and they don't look you in the eye. And it's like they're looking down all the time. And I think part of that is just the collective psyche about what took place in Berlin, and they haven't quite gotten over that portion of it.
Wow.
But a really kinky city too. So kind of like the conversation we're having yesterday. It's wide open in that regard. So not like the Crazy Horse in Paris where you have the horse show on stage, but there's plenty of other things like that that are off stage.
Okay. Yeah, Berlin, a lot of people don't know this, but the partying, the nightlife in Berlin is epic. And you could just party for hours. I mean, literally like $30 US.
I've never had that experience, but
shit is crazy. Shit is crazy, Bob. Shit is crazy. Shit is crazy. But I think Amsterdam is probably my favorite.
Really?
Just the diversity. It's just such a diverse city. Small, but there's so much. There's so much going in, and it's just that little metropolis. But I love Amsterdam. The people. I've always been treated exceptionally well, and I just love Amsterdam, man.
My lament about Amsterdam is that it would be cooler if people could appreciate what a shower was and how to use soap.
Yeah.
So kind of like much of France is the same way, though. But cheers to America.
Cheers to America.
Anyway, we got some beautiful oysters right here. Why don't you guys pick them up and start slurping? All you got to do, Jaclyn will show you the process here, but just pick it up, and they're already cut. There's a little abductor muscle in there. We covered the abductor muscles yesterday with the scallops.
Yep.
So, we've cut that. All you do is pick it up, hoist it up, and slurp it right down.
I'm just going to get a little bit of lemon juice on here.
Yeah, just a simple cocktail sauce you make in house. So it's a little sriracha, and there's a remoulade there, and if you want to, that'll work. I prefer them without lemons, but a lot of people like their lemons.
Actually, I'm gonna try it without.
It's really good.
Should be good mineral content there.
Oh, absolutely.
So you just do we have a spoon?
You should have a little. Just use a little fork if they didn't give you
Yeah.
little baby oyster forks.
And is that like a mustard sauce in the middle or a horseradish? Or what is
Yeah.
that?
So we make a remoulade, and remoulade, our remoulade is pretty much equal parts of mayonnaise, a real mayonnaise, and a Dijon mustard, and a few herbs and spices, and then we just put that
kinda
over the
down the hatch.
sriracha, and there you go.
Yeah. It is minerally.
It is, and after 3 or 4, they go down much easier.
Yeah.
You did that like a champ.
Yeah. Oyster.
There you go.
Oyster.
His first oyster.
We should clink. Cheers.
Yeah, clinking,
Cheers.
clinking. Yay!
Cheers.
Here.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Nice work.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are very tasty.
Hey, Lori,
Try that remoulade.
we have some oyster forks. Crazy. Okay.
So you just stack them like plates.
Oh yeah, I kind of do that too.
Yeah, you're good for
Freed up.
3 or 4 dozen a night, right?
I mean, they don't like fill you up.
Yeah, it's not gonna. Yeah.
All protein, yet again, just like yesterday.
All protein. Why are they an aphrodisiac?
Zinc. They have the highest zinc content, I think, of any food,
Yeah.
and it just has that effect.
Zinc is. Yeah,
Wow.
I take a lot of zinc. Zinc is, I'm a bachelor, so I'm sure.
Well, as you should.
Well,
Also, zinc prevents colds.
yeah.
There you go.
I mean, there's so many
Sure.
benefits.
It's the COVID killer too,
The
right?
COVID killer. Picking up.
I wish I had known that before I got COVID, but yeah,
You should have started sooner, I guess. There you go.
should have started. Yeah, should definitely.
Pops on you.
Zinc.
Absolutely.
So that ginseng, ginger, vanilla, we talked about that yesterday.
Yep.
Chocolate, of course.
Chocolate, of course. Strawberries.
Yeah.
Chocolate
Okay.
covered strawberries.
Chocolate is definitely, and a good wine, of course.
And a good wine.
We have a actual strawberry puree. We could do strawberry mojitos or daiquiris if you like. Not that synthetic
There we
stuff.
go.
That sounds fantastic. I love a good strawberry margarita or mojito, yet I never get them because I don't trust at all what they're made with in most places.
Yep.
If
most
I
places.
see the strawberries like being put in a blender, okay,
That's us.
we'll talk.
Yeah.
No red dye number 2 here.
Yeah, love that.
That sauce is good too.
Oh, thank you.
You do a good
Yeah,
job,
I'm
here,
gonna-
Bob. Do a good job. Damn good job.
Keep going. Keep going.
I am gonna get a little bit of that sauce.
Yeah, that special
Might as well.
non-stadium sauce.
So let's. Where do you see the society and the world heading post-COVID?
I say this all the time. Men are obsolete. Soon women will be obsolete.
Okay.
And the rock that we're on does not need humans to advance. Okay? So what we're going to do is getting caught up in artificial intelligence and these advanced robotic states. And that makes life easier for people, but people need a reason to live. They need something to do. We don't just be idle all day, because that's just good for Pornhub, I suppose. But the reality is we need something to do to motivate ourselves to move ahead with. And you take those things away from people, you're going to have in my mind, going to have a very disassociated group of people that are going to be very depressed, and you have almost like this little, I see like a Caligula-esque kind of a stage going on where people are just fucking anything and anybody.
Okay.
And then you're going to have this turn into something where you have almost like a Clockwork Orange situation taking place, where you've got just these bands of people roving around that are very dystopian, that are very anti-societal people, because they can't adapt, they can't do anything because they
Yeah.
have no reason to do anything.
Right.
So I do see that robots will replace us, and soon enough robots will be making other robots, if they're not already. But artificial intelligence, I think, is the play.
That's a hot take.
So we are, and I think that's okay, because we are so toxic as a species, we should not go into outer space. We should not be allowed to go there, because we're just going to muck that up as well. What do you think, Jaclyn?
I mean, I see where you're going, Bob. I mean, we are going towards artificial intelligence big time. And I hate how much my phone knows what I'm thinking. Like the amount of data that they have collected on me based on the websites that I'm looking at and the online shopping that I do. Because of course I'm online shopping, especially this year, and the Instagram pages that I follow. Like, I love Instagram for the simpleness of it, but yet it's actually starting to freak me out how much they can kind of pinpoint what you like and what triggers you. And I'll be scrolling and I'm like, how the hell did they know that I just bought a couple plants? And I'm figuring out how often to water them, or I mean, that's a silly example, but that is happening, and I don't think we recognize how much they know about us because of this little cell phone that we're carrying all day long, and how that's changing our mind. And I mean, I want to get away from it. It freaks me out. I don't know if we'll see what you're talking about in our lifetime.
It's the book called A Brave New World. And it sounds like,
yeah.
I'm sure you've read that. Yeah. I think AI will mostly make its imprint in the medical field. I think I said this the other night, that man will always be able to make the machine can't make the man. So I think at the end of the day, man will always be able to control.
The problem is there's no reason for men to exist.
That's a hot take, Bob. That's a hot take. I think there's always a need for man to exist.
There are all forms of life, just on this rock that we recognize. I'm sure many that we don't recognize. Forget about everything else that's everywhere else. But they don't need any interaction with us. In fact, those other life forms, and some are sentient to a degree, don't have any reason for us to be here. We don't contribute to their advancement, and they were here before us.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
So in many ways, we're kind of a mutant strain of something that became us, right? Which is a cool little thing for us at the moment. But I don't think that we have the longevity to. Now you've done it. I'm just going to be in the wax, man. And I am tied up in this whole dystopian thought process, and I have been forever. And I've been very cynical my entire life. And I think that's just the nature of the human existence.
Yeah, I agree that
look at relationships, Relationships between men and women are so stilted compared to what we were as kids. And of course, I'm a generation before you two, but as kids that we were brought up to be and thinking about in terms of how people should interact.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's male, female, female, whatever the case might be. But we have a much different viewpoint upon ourselves. We have become very insular to ourselves anyway, and we don't have that commitment to somebody else, right?
Sure.
We just don't. Relationships are here today, gone tomorrow, next, right? And I don't think that's beneficial for us in so many ways because we're not nomads, right?
Yeah.
And we have evolved in such a way that we're on the grid, and we're always going to be in the grid. And the day that we're not on the grid, well, we just cease to exist anyway, right? Because once that grid is down, electricity is gone, right? Heart monitors are gone. Anything that keeps people alive in the situations you guys deal with are gone, right? And that's just the tip of that iceberg as well. So we're doomed. We're doomed. Whether it's going to be in 100 years or 300 years or 10 years, we have everything has a ride, has a beginning and an end, right? And I think the end for the human civilization and species is closer than the beginning was. So I don't think we're at the halfway point. I think we're closer to the end of that. We're very destructive. We're very toxic.
Well, I think the human life was designed. I think it was designed to be 80 years, and 80, 90 years if you're special. But I think that is the beauty of it. I think everything is, even the sorrow that we go through, I think that's all perfection. I mean, it's designed. I mean, but we've been conditioned to think that there's more, and religion teaches you to you live to heaven. And I think the perfection is living 80 years and learning to accept that. But I agree with you on the piece that the earth itself does not need us. No, you're absolutely right with that. But man's existence is definitely important for us. And to your point about companionship, I think that's important. I've often wondered why people are so circumstantial with each other. And I'm just loyal. Like, I'm a loyal person, so I'm not, you know what I mean? If I'm with you, I'm with you. But I don't understand people. I don't understand behaviors. I don't understand the logic that people think, So I just think differently out of people. I don't know.
We had a cat in here a couple of months ago who came in from Brazil, who's got an organization. We talked about this briefly yesterday. And it really began with a spiritual awakening that he had. I'm sure it was pharmacologically orientated for the first time, and maybe other times too. But he was able to commune with the earth, right? So now he represents an organization. He has an NGO that is in place that benefits indigenous people and indigenous causes and preservation of the Amazon and all sorts of really cool, great things that we all should be involved in. And if we were to do that, if we were to have a better comprehension of this rock and want to be part of the rock, as opposed to just crawling on the top of this rock, then I think, and most importantly, to get along with other people and have this bond with people and understand the importance of that, then we've got some staying power. But that's not what I see on a daily basis.
Well, people are so they're all about self. Everybody, I want everybody to win. You know what I mean? I don't understand people. I hear conversations daily, and I'm like, you said that out loud? Like, why would you say that out loud? I mean, it's crazy, man. But I agree. But this is why traveling is so important to me, because I learn about the earth, the different cultures. It's beautiful. I remember being actually in Amsterdam. I was talking to. There was a girl who was she appeared to be of Asian descent, and so I just said, she was pretty. She's an Asian girl, and so my buddy had said to me, "Well, she's not Asian. She's Dutch." She's Dutch. And I'm like, no, but she's Asian. No, she's Dutch. And so he had said to me, in the West, that you teach a lot of that. Now, I could have got into a historical conversation about the Dutch because they're responsible for a lot of that. But I understood his point.
It's a fascinating point.
Yeah, I understood his point. And so...
I would say this about, I'm the biggest advocate I know about getting the heck out of Dodge and going to see the world and interacting with different people and places, cultures, whatever. But I think that you should do that now. We should all do that now, because my observation over the last 40 years of flying around is that many cultures are disappearing quickly because there is such a desire to become westernized.
Sure.
And it's one of the reasons I love to go to Cuba, because it's in a vacuum. 60 plus years, it's in a vacuum, right? And the people are incredibly open and generous and giving, and they're human. And they treat you in a human capacity. And they don't have all the fancy doodads, the toys, and they're not all looking at their phones because they don't have service there, whatever else. But that is disappearing at such a fast rate. Look at Puerto Rico. It started the same way, but every 3 blocks there's a McDonald's, there's a Pizza Hut, there's a Burger King.
Wow.
And the Puerto Rican food is all but gone unless you're in someone's house, right? Yeah. So you're missing so much of that culture itself. The same thing's taking place in Mexico and other things.
Sure.
So we have westernized so much of the world.
Absolutely.
That cultural aspect is gone. You go to Hong Kong, and it is incredibly progressive and fast moving. It's not a Chinese culture. That's a part of it, but it is westernized culture for everything. And they're all driving Teslas and Benzes and whatever else.
Yeah.
But they're not, which is maybe why China wants to take them back and control them again, just like Macau as well. But I think that there's a time element that we have to go and embrace those places and not go to not go to Havana and expect to get a Ritz Hotel or something.
Yeah.
There's the Waldorf Astoria. It's not going to be there. It shouldn't be there.
It's assimilation.
Right.
Assimilation, indoctrination.
Right.
I always tell people, like, when you go to Egypt, even when you look at the pyramids, you have the pyramids, and there's all this. I mean, this history from some of the earliest civilizations on the earth, and then literally across the street is a KFC.
Wow.
And so to
Wow.
me, that sums up what the earth is about right now.
Yeah.
It's all about assimilation. And then we see that with our religions, right? I mean, you know, we don't even know what are some of the earliest religions on this earth is. Right? You know Islam, right? We know Christianity, we know Hindu, we know Buddhism, but we don't even know what the earliest. What were the hominid humans? What were they worshiping?
Right.
The sun? Were they? I mean, we don't know. We don't even know.
Sure, sun,
Probably
stars.
the
Yeah.
sun, the
Yeah.
stars,
And Mother
gods,
Earth as well.
Right.
yeah,
Sure.
nature, which
We've been
makes
so
total
distorted.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, my contention would be, and I'm sure I'm not unique with this, that there is a natural cure for every disease, for every natural disease.
100%.
So if we just took the time to research that and to find that and to go back and look at the writings or listen to elders' generations of wisdom for things, everything is here for natural diseases.
Sure.
You see where I'm going with that. But if we just had more appreciation for the rock and the place and the sense of being, we would be better people.
But let me ask you this, Bob, because I'm firmly convinced that there's a cure for every disease, probably that lies deep. There's places in Amazon that don't even get sunlight, right?
Right.
And
That's a good point.
They got
Yeah.
tarantulas the size of this plate and all kind of shit growing down there, but they don't want to find that, right? Because if they find a cure for that, there's a lot of people that's going to lose their jobs,
Right.
right? And so they don't want to find a cure for that. So I understand the business aspect of shit too, right? And so because we got to eat,
It's a huge player.
Right.
Yeah, healthcare is a business.
right?
It's a thriving,
Right.
huge machine.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I invested when COVID started. I invested in pharmaceuticals, and it's sad that you're making money off people being sick.
Yep.
But we've been trained and conditioned that way that we got to eat,
Yeah.
even off of other people's
Yeah.
shit. Is fucked up. You know, when there's a mass shooting, the sales stock go up in defense.
Yeah.
But this is who we are.
Well, social engineering plays here as well. So we are being directed. We're directed in that direction. I'm not saying
Correct.
it's forward. We're being directed that way.
Absolutely.
And again, I think that's to our detriment.
Absolutely.
Obviously, to some people, is great benefit.
From a monetary perspective.
But we will pay for it at some point.
Yeah.
We all will.
It's hearing you guys talk, all I thought about was slowing down. Like when you slow down, you listen to your, whoever you're communicating with. You're actually in that moment. Slowing down to me means like actually cooking a real meal with real ingredients, sitting down, eating it, opening a bottle of wine, talking over it, like slowing down. Like nothing is fast or instant. You have to physically go to the butcher shop, get your really good meat, drive home and cook it, and all of, like, that's love, in cooking. And yeah, is slowing down to appreciate nature and just go for a walk or a hike. Like that's, yeah, we've gotten really far away from that.
It's the simple things. Sunset. Sunrise.
Do you know how many
Absolutely.
photos I have of sunsets?
It's beautiful.
I'm like, oh my God, because it's like they're all beautiful. You're so mesmerized.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Even when you see dozens.
rainbow,
and dozens.
even a rainbow after a sun shower, rain shower on a sunny day. It's
Yeah.
beautiful, man. It's
Yeah.
The simplest
simple
things.
shit.
Absolutely.
Simplest things, man. I'm on Instagram, so I always post shit, and always my deepest thoughts come in the morning. I don't know why that is.
Why not?
I had just posted, if you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is check Instagram. I know it's oxymoronic because I'm posting this on Instagram, but and you check Instagram, then your priorities are messed up.
Yep.
So I've just learned to take just simply waking up.
If we could do away with Facebook and
Facebook?
and all the news for like 60 days, what a different world this would be when you are reliant upon talking to people
Yeah.
one to one,
Yeah.
as opposed to the screen, because
Getting
God, it's the internet.
together.
It must
Yeah.
be factual, right?
Yeah.
And people would have a much different comprehension and have the ability to interact with people again. That would just be wonderful.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. Maybe more meaning to being on this rock, right?
Absolutely.
the term they call it is mindfulness.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's something that a lot of us don't have.
I have cooked some, frankly, extraordinary meals for some people that devour it in seconds. And I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's cool for you. But you're also missing something. If you took the time to actually chew that food, to masticate that food, to get those flavors, because as you bite into things, as you talked about the oysters, the flavors emote and evolve so much, and you're
Yeah.
missing that. It's like, oh, this would be the best thing ever, but the reality is slow the fuck down and taste it and experience it.
I would agree
Same
with
thing
that.
with that wine.
Yeah.
Why do you pour that down when you can just sit there and appreciate the nuance? Take the time for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally agree with
Yeah,
that.
it's we have become slaves to our desires, right? And so everything is gratification is the word I'm looking for. Gratification.
More isn't always better.
Right. And I've learned to understand. It took me a while, and I'm still learning that excess is not everything. Sometimes it's just learning to appreciate, everything, every moment. Because
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what 2020 is really taught me. Like,
Yeah.
I've known so many people that's died, you know what I mean, this year. So it's just, you have to appreciate that shit, man.
Yeah.
It's a science to that. So a lot of people don't understand it. So I'm just learning, growing, appreciating life, and that is what happiness is about. Right? And so it's not living to 200, 300 years. I'm cool living to 80 if it's fulfilling, right? I'm cool living to 60 if it's fulfilling. So I've already achieved a lot of my goals, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it going as long as till my heart stops. So that's my view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah.
All right, so where to from here?
If the country is open, Poland.
Beautiful people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Italy. I've never been. Gotta go.
Yeah. Have you been to Little Italy? New
Little?
York? Little Italy?
Like that huge kind of like marketplace shop.
It's Little Italy is a section in Manhattan.
Oh no,
I love it. I love Little Italy.
She spent time in the north end of Boston. She doesn't need Little Italy.
Oh, she's
Exquisite food, north end of Boston. I'd say,
yeah.
from my perspective,
Oh yeah.
the best Italian food is in Boston,
said
the north end. Honest to God.
So good.
Yeah.
It's
It's
so
not
good.
Frisco, it's not New York, it's in Boston.
Okay.
For my meat.
No, I've never been.
Your opinion trumps mine.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So.
Where is Little Italy in
New
New
York.
York? Where?
It's like a couple blocks up from Chinatown, actually. Right off of Canal Street, just a little north of Canal Street.
Intersecting streets would be.
Franklin, maybe?
Room in Mulberry.
Mulberry.
Okay.
Oh, I love
Okay.
Mulberry Street. Yeah.
It's all Soho, Chinatown,
Yeah.
Nolita.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right there.
Cool.
My favorite restaurant in New York, Spotted Pig. Love it. Yeah, it's on 11th and Greenwich.
What makes that special?
I just love it, man.
There you go.
People are meeting
Nice.
there.
So it's the vibe, it's the interaction.
The
with
vibe, it's the interaction. It's
yeah.
Elsa's.
All right. All right.
Oh,
For me,
fun.
but it's small.
Okay.
Everything in New York is the size of a guinea pig
Yeah.
tank. But I love New York, man. I fell in
So
love
do
with
I.
that city, man. I fell in love with that.
That wasn't a Richard Gere joke then. The guinea pig.
No,
Oh,
Richard
okay.
Gere. Richard Gere. He's played out. Been played out since Pretty Woman. But yeah, man. So yeah,
Good movie.
yeah, great movie.
Great movie.
Aaron Brockovich, I like that. Julie Roberts. I like
Yeah.
Julie Roberts.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Me too.
yeah.
She's done well for herself.
She's done well
As
for
well
herself.
as she should. She deserves
Those
it.
long legs.
You can't go wrong with that
You
shit.
can't go.
Of course, after Clooney got married, that all fell apart for her. So.
Tequila's good.
His tequila is good.
Casamigos.
You switched to the
yeah.
tequila.
You do not want me drinking tequila. Tequila does not sit right with me for some reason. Yeah, I stick to the brown and the bourbon and the wine and the scotches and tequila. I stay away from it.
I like it all.
Same.
I don't know. It puts me in a feisty.
You get
I
feisty.
get feisty with tequila,
I get happier.
and
I
I'm
don't
not a
know.
feisty dude. Like I'm such. That's not my. Such not a feisty.
Actually,
You don't seem like a
probiotics.
feisty
I'm
dude.
not. But
Tequila's
tequila,
good for you too.
there's something in that spirit.
Prebiotics, probiotics.
Either way, absolutely. Sure.
I don't know. I'm making that up.
The more you drink, the better it is.
Antibiotics.
It's healthy.
These oysters was good.
Cool.
They're great.
Are they all
Put me on
gone?
some.
Not yet.
Someone's got to finish
Bob, we
this
waiting
off.
on you, Bob. You gotta
that's
do at
okay.
least
That's
one with us. Bob, can we do? Can all three of us do an oyster at the same time?
Ooh.
Like a toast?
Are there 3 here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We got 3. Then we got 3 left.
All right. And I'll take this one.
We're gonna do an oyster toast.
Okay.
Patrick, how many oyster toasts have you ever? I don't want to ask. I don't want to ask.
Okay. Cheers.
Cheers.
Slowing down.
Delish.
Yeah,
Delicious.
absolutely.
Just the right salinity too.
Yeah, that's good.
Yum.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
So
I have
when
a
we
salt
can,
tooth.
which concert are you going to see first?
I need a Jay-Z tour, man. I need Jay-Z to come out, twisties in his hair and all. I need a Jay-Z tour. That's what I
Fun.
need.
Oh my God. This is a strange answer because I love all sorts of concerts. I went to the
Absolutely.
Beyonce concert
Yeah.
a few years back.
Chicago?
Unbelievable. And
Soldier Field?
yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So much fun. I love going to any, like, hip hop, rock, small bands, you name it. But if I could do anything, go anywhere, see anybody, I would see Queen.
Oh, they're great. Queen.
Now, obviously, Freddie Mercury is no longer with us.
They're great.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
But they were touring still, like right before COVID hit.
Yeah.
And I have this like low-key obsession with Queen.
Is there a bad Queen
And I would
song?
I would see, no.
Yeah.
Like they're timeless. Their music just like speaks to you. It
Somebody Love is my
30
favorite
years
Queen.
late, yeah. I mean, these
Somebody
songs don't get old.
Yeah.
We still feel them in our soul,
Yeah.
all of
Yeah.
them. And
Yeah.
I could go on and on.
Yeah.
I would see Queen. They're just historical. Like, there's no one like them.
That's a great choice.
Yeah.
I though would go a different direction. As much as I do like Queen, I probably would get myself down to Brazil and just find the right bossa nova, and I would just get into that.
That's a good,
Gilberto?
yeah.
I like a Strude. Gilberto.
Well, Strud is gone, but right.
Yeah.
Vidal Gilberto.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was some good music.
Fun.
Little summer samba, something like that.
Somebody
Yeah,
gave me
just-
an album she did with Stan Getz. That was good.
Extraordinary sax player.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was good.
Fun.
What's the best concert you ever been to? Pink Floyd?
Good dear God. There's a couple things that are up there. I mean, Floyd was a fantastic show, but that's a show, man. Jesus.
Jesus.
Maybe Steely Dan. I'm not sure. So a little, jazz rock kind of thing, but man, Pink Floyd is pretty fucking cool.
Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
I've caught some great jazz things too. I mean, El Giro,
I love
Grover
that.
Washington Jr.
Oh,
I mean, just
yeah,
dynamite
yeah,
performers and just
yeah.
transcendent in so many ways.
Man.
How
Yeah.
about you?
man. I don't even know. I would probably because I loved Beyonce, and I hate admitting that like, you know, because it wasn't so much about the music. It was, but it was more about just the show in general, and the lights, and the dancing, and the costumes, and you're so like
the vibrancy.
Yeah,
And there's no shame in admitting Beyonce's
I mean,
phenomenal.
and she's mesmerizing in and of
Absolutely.
herself. She's like
Absolutely.
larger than life.
Absolutely.
I mean, that concert was just so well done. I honestly though, one of I was pretty drunk with my friends once at Summerfest. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, okay.
Right. Atmosphere was playing on a free stage.
Atmosphere's there.
And we had a blast.
Right.
We had this like large area to dance, and there's something just so great about having this space to like enjoy the music you're listening to. We just started dancing out of control, and the music, I loved it. I'll never forget that night. How much fun I had at
Sayers
that.
tour? That was the Rhyme Sayers tour. He came with
I think
a bunch of people from
I
Minnesota.
think this was in like 2017 or 2018.
Rhyme Sayers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they sounded phenomenal. It was nothing fancy. I didn't even really listen to them as much as I was like dancing in between two like bleacher with my girlfriends. Oh, just a completely different experience. But it was just that was all about the music.
Absolutely.
Well, I get that. I saw Prince, and that was that same kind of
Oh
experience.
man, Prince.
Yeah.
Santana puts on a hell of a show. There's a number of guys that really bring it beyond just the music aspect.
Yeah.
You like
Yep.
Janelle Monáe?
Love her. Yeah.
Saw her at Summerfest.
Absolutely. Was there?
And she was at that free stage that's right next to what was the Marcus Amphitheater,
Yeah.
whatever they call it now. Yeah, I call it the Marcus Amphitheater. That's
Briggs.
you know.
They ain't the Briggs. It's. What is that stage?
It has that overhang.
Yeah.
Well, Briggs is the closest one to Marcus, so maybe
It is
that-
Briggs.
It's Briggs.
Okay, so
it's
it's Briggs. Yeah.
She was performing at Briggs. She put on a phenomenal show.
Janelle Monáe is phenomenal.
She's brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Beautiful
so
woman.
talented.
Beautiful woman. Yeah.
sex appeal.
She's sexy.
Totally.
Yeah.
You know, there's 3 concerts for me. I saw Prince at the City Club in Chicago, and it was spur of the moment. And Prince, it was, a lot of it was, you know, just on the top of his head. There was no consistent set list. He just rocked it.
Oh yeah.
Seeing that performance, it just changed. It changed me. You know.
I couldn't imagine. How cool.
I saw Lauryn Hill in 2000
Ooh.
at Summerfest Marcus Amphitheater, and she had a DJ and a band, and this was coming off of her album Miseducation.
Yeah.
And the other one for me was I can't even think. It's Outkast. I saw at Summerfest. This was a few years ago.
Yeah.
Boy, if you
that
go back to
was-
the old Funkadelic days, that would be a show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Little George Clinton era,
Yeah.
absolutely.
They were
Yeah.
here last year.
Really?
They were here last year. And so I saw Herbie Hancock at the back room in Chicago some years ago, and he's a Chicago boy,
Okay.
and Herbie Hancock put on a show, and I got to remember talk about my girl Michelle Indicello. She's a phenomenal artist. I went to go see her at the Barrymore. Drew Barrymore's father has a theater in Madison, and I went to go see
Really?
him at at the Barrymore, and she was incredible. She did all Nina Simone songs that night, and I had bought the tickets in advance, but most artists sometimes when they're doing smaller venues they do meet and greets. She's the one artist I actually wanted to meet, and
Wow,
she
cool.
was so shy. They said she just didn't want to do meet and greets, so I was bummed out about that. But the show was phenomenal.
Fun. Stuff to look forward to, right?
These are the things that define our culture as the arts. So whether
Yeah.
it's performance art, whether it's statuary, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Those are the really cool things about us as people. And even what I've seen, and I am remotely not an expert in any part of this, but I would say that we don't have that depth of artistic endeavor today.
Right.
We've got white canvases that are hung up in museums that people awe at because it's white. But we don't have art, man. And so many musicians put out such blather today that if you look at all the timeline of music, the phenomenal concerts we have, that's why those people that we've been talking about are such standouts, because the average guy is just not doing it today. Whereas I think that was not the case 40 or 50 or 60 or 100 years ago.
You have to love what you do.
You do.
And a lot of artists, to me nowadays, they really do it for a paycheck, right? And so you really have to love what you do.
Well, you can think about Amadeus, right? So you think about what Mozart did in his time frame was probably akin to what Bowie did or what Prince did at some point. But again, they took the world and changed it, turned it, right?
It's incredible.
But it's so very few people actually do that, and I think fewer on a regular basis. So, but anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It really what defines us as people, what makes us, want to get up in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're past the tedium of our existence otherwise.
Music and food and laughter and dancing
And relationships.
I love
Yeah.
dancing. I will put on a whole concert by myself at home. An entire concert. Running on chairs, jumping on couches. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love music, man. That's a gift from God.
It
A
is.
gift from God.
This summer, it's just not having a lot to do, or places to dance. Mm-hmm. And I haven't been on a plane since February, which is not unlike that. That is very unlike me.
Yep.
But I went up north in, I think it was late August, early September, with some of my best friends. It's just 4 of us. And my uncle has this beautiful cabin up north in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. He's really nice about it and allows us to, I just ask him like, hey, is anyone staying up there this weekend? So he let me borrow it. And it has this open concept in the main area, kitchen, dining room, living room. And the living room is this huge, really nice, thick rug. So at night, we just hung out all day. It's on a lake, so you're on the lake during the day, and then at night, you're cooking good food and you're drinking. There's no cell phone reception. You're not on your phone.
Yep.
So we decided it'd be fun to bring black lights and disco lights.
Oh, cool.
And then we cleared out the whole living room. All the chairs and couches and coffee tables, brought them all out to the side and created this dance floor. And we had music, and then we put on body paint. and we got really drunk, and the 4 of us just danced for
great.
hours.
It's great, man.
And I was like, this is better than a club. and that's
I'm waiting for the video here, but yeah. I think that was fun.
That was fun.
It's funny that you say that, because one thing I appreciate about women is they, a lot of times men, we always feel like we have to be surrounded by other women to be having a good time. You know what I mean? But one thing I appreciate about women is they don't need to. They can just, hang out with each other and find good times and that. So me and my buddies,
they're smarter than we are. That's why.
Well, and stronger, but that's a different discussion we got to talk about. But we had went to me and my buddies, 4 of my good friends, and we had just went to the Grand Canyon. My buddy has an RV. We went out there. We literally, no girls. We just literally grilled steaks, drank bourbon, ride around on 4-wheelers, look at the stars, and just talk. And I swear to you, that was one of the best times I ever had in my life.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was no, we gonna mac on tonight, or
Right.
it was just great, man. And I wish men would do that more. Mm-hmm. Just bond, fuck all the bullshit. Let's just talk. Talk as men, and we literally talked about everything. I'm sorry.
No, you're right on the money. I went up north to the Upper Peninsula. My uncle has a cabin and my grandfather has a cabin. I went up there 4 or 5 times this summer. So that's the only trips I did. I went to the UP.
Absolutely.
But they were like almost spiritual, and it was like a therapy session. Literally, like me and my best girlfriends, all we did was talk. For hours, we talked about life, we talked about this, we talked about childhood things, like things that I didn't know about, friends that I've been close with for 10 plus years. And we talked, we hiked a little bit, we enjoyed like nature, and it was just
beautiful.
You actually came back from your trip feeling rejuvenated.
Yeah.
Unlike some trips, like pre-COVID, I would, you're partying and you're going out and and you come back from your trip and you're exhausted.
Yeah.
These were like, oh my God, you felt well again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what, when you think of the word recreation, right? When you break that down, recreation, right? And so it's really, that's when you travel and you come back, that's how you should feel. You should feel recreated. You should feel rejuvenated. You should feel whole. You should feel like educated about something. So that's what the essence of traveling is really about. It's to recreate. Mm-hmm. It's not to take a bunch of pictures on Instagram. It's not to show people what you're doing versus what they're not. But it's really about who you are. That's really what it's about.
Yeah, I love that.
So
Cool.
I really love that.
I'm getting hungry.
More
I'm
boots?
ready to eat.
Okay.
I know, me too.
All right, we can call this quits. It's been a nice little chat that we've had here today. Folks, thank you very much for listening in. We hope you, we hope you enjoyed it. And we hope you find a way to be good to yourselves and good to those people that you love and enjoy life. Cheers to you. Thanks for tuning in.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Absolutely.